Hello everyone, this is Big Awesome Manatee. There's a certain bit of literature that high schools and colleges both love to use as a crutch when it comes to teaching the language arts. Reading Shakespeare is the worst form of presentation. High school teachers and college professors need to stop pretending that reading this is intellectual development. There's a proper way to do it. We need to remember this literature that you are reading to us or forcing us to read are scripts. There is a significant difference between reading the script of Star Wars versus seeing Star Wars. The same applies to a script. You can't catch the nuance of how lines are delivered. You don't get location descriptions. You don't get the little details. But Mix, that's why we have our students perform it. Big problem! You mean to tell me that you expect these pubescent little dumpster fires to give a convincing performance which requires them to comprehend and understand the implications of what they're reading? If this were, say, a drama class, then by all means, that should be an expectation. But an English or language arts class is not the time nor the place for this. But then this brings another question. Are movies or shows vital to an understanding of language? Yes. The point of language is to convey what happened in your head and real time on paper. If you don't comprehend what happened on paper, the default isn't that you're stupid or less than capable. Communication is just as much on the author as it is on the reader. This is not only a response to classes that use Shakespeare as a palate cleanser, this is also to those young and budding screenwriters who insist that their screenplay will change the game. Buddy, a screenplay is not a medium of entertainment. It's an instruction manual. It's a recipe. It's like saying the ingredients of this cake will taste better than cake itself. Separated, the eggs taste like salmonella, the flour will choke you like a Popeye's biscuit, and butter is always good by itself. That's right, I am one of those degenerates that eats butter like Winnie the Pooh eats honey. Plays and scripts are recipes for stuff that can be great, but just because you get the recipes does not guarantee the greatness. You still need to invest effort to communicate the message. You still need to do the legwork on conveying these lists of scenes. So if you want to teach Shakespeare, just play a movie of it or take them to a play. An actor's performance or director's decisions should be able to convey the portion of the script's meaning. Just don't expect a bunch of teenagers to comprehend Shakespeare's era of English. I still hardly comprehend it. But get movies that use the same story template with contemporary dialogue. Lion King is an example of this. It's Hamlet. Revenge of the Sith is basically Othello. 10 Things I Hate About You is Taming of the Shrew. Thank you, unnamed 11th grade language arts teacher, for understanding that. West Side Story is Romeo and Juliet. You get it. You don't have to present it in its original form to get the essence of the story. You can reel it back as a footnote, just like you can reel Star Wars back to its influences such as Flash Gordon, Hidden Fortress, or as he aimed for, modern mythology. George Lucas's goal was to take Joseph Campbell's Hero with a Thousand Faces and make a film that gives modern audiences their own mythology, their own way of understanding the world, which inspire a lieu of others to do the same. On top of that, think about the history of the Globe Theater for a minute. A lot of people like to fetishize it, give it a grander implication. What was there for entertainment back in the day? Around 15th to 16th century England, you could drink at the pub, watch a tournament, watch a circus, or watch a play. The Globe Theater was a significant escalation on how we approach entertainment, but it's more synonymous with Saturday Night Live or soap operas than it is an elevated form of entertainment. But some people like to fetishize it as this ultimate unifying area where both rich and poor came to appreciate the arts. Okay. Then you can make that same argument for sports stadiums, an ultimate gathering of all classes, rich and poor, here to appreciate some football. Or they're eating wings and drinking cheap beer in air-conditioned boxes, probably not paying attention to the game. There were two parts of the Globe Theater, the balconies and the common grounds. Many of the upper crusts would go to the plays via the balconies. You can see the tradition carry over into operas and theaters. Yes, it was an area where both the rich and poor came because of the event, but it doesn't guarantee that outside factors were not going to affect how audience members conduct themselves. There were times where music at the end of plays was banned to prevent the raucous dancing that followed. The audience members were very vocal, cheering for the heroes and booing for the villains. If you wanted to deliver the authentic Globe Theater experience, you'd be better off just taking to a Ren Fair or getting them into WWE. My recommendation is to understand the medium you are communicating to. Language arts is not restricted to books. You have other means of communication, and we need to quit pretending that books and letters are the only form of communication. It's a good basic start, but recognize the medium it addresses. Get some kind of literacy outside of books. Use other books. Don't be afraid to use TV, games even. Our use of language, it's constantly evolving, and we should too. Thank you for watching.